It's Courtney with the Kitchen Garden, and we're going to talk all about garlic and how to plant it today. So garlic is something that I love to grow each year. Plant it in the fall and harvest it in early June here in my zone 8B. And knowing how to plant garlic well is really important for a good harvest. So I'm going to show you how to plant your garlic. Let's get started. So a few things that you want to consider when you're thinking about planting garlic is the season. Right now it is mid-October, although it's almost 80 degrees outside. And this is typically the time of year that I will plant garlic. If you live further south, you could probably wait a little bit longer. And if you're further north, then maybe September, early October is going to be a better choice for you. The other thing that you want to consider is what type of garlic should you grow? This is not actually a head of garlic from the grocery store, though it looks just like it. You want to think about whether you want to grow a soft neck or a hard neck variety. And here in the South, where we don't really have a lot of basements and cold areas where we can store our vegetables and things like that throughout the winter, typically a better storing type of garlic is going to be the soft neck. It's easier for us to keep a soft neck variety longer. A hard neck variety is more popular up north in northern climes where you might get some snow and ice and things like that. Can you grow soft neck up north and hard neck down south? Yes, you absolutely can. So choose the variety that you think is best, and you can take a peek at the different qualities of these bulbs of garlic from your favorite garlic retailer. I purchase ours from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, little fall breeze, and I've been super pleased with the quality of garlic I've gotten. If you are thinking about growing garlic and it's still the spring or the summer and you know you want to grow it for the fall, or put it in to grow starting in fall, chances are the seed company won't ship it until fall. So just know that that's completely normal. You can go ahead and pre-order your seed garlic and then it will be delivered to you closer to time for planting. Some seed companies actually assess where you live, and the further north you live, the earlier you get your garlic. So that's a bonus. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention, is that you don't want to just grab a head of garlic from the grocery store and plant it. Most of the heads of garlic from the grocery store have been treated with some kind of chemical that keeps them from sprouting so that they'll last longer in your pantry. But seed garlic is not like that. We want it to sprout. That's the whole goal. We want it to grow its own head of garlic from each of these individual cloves. So get actual seed garlic to plant. Could you try planting organic garlic from the grocery store? Yes, you can. So if that works out for you, be sure to let us know. But I like a sure thing, and that's getting some seed garlic. And it is possible, this will be a video later, to save one of your heads of garlic, or 2 or 4, from your crop to use as seed garlic the next year. So that'll be coming up later. All right. A few other tips is that you really want to consider where you're putting your garlic. Obviously, garlic is going to grow under the ground in the soil, and so you want your soil to be nice and loose, no compacted soil, because we want our bulb to be able to spread out and to really flourish. You also just want good nutrient dense soil. So if you've been growing all spring and summer and your soil's a little bit depleted, be sure to top it off with some compost, some nice rich compost, and mix that in before you plant your garlic. And finally, it's really nice once your garlic has started to sprout, especially and your temperatures are getting a little cooler, you want to consider mulching wherever you have your garlic growing. This year for me, it's going to be in one of these raised beds behind me that I've moved from a different area of the yard because they've just been filled with some really beautiful soil from Daddy Pete's. It's their raised bed mix, so I know that it's ready to go. In years past, I've planted my garlic in the front flower bed, and it's done really well there because our flower beds are always mulched with pine straw, so it's perfect. And nobody really walks in the flower beds. So again, raised beds, flower beds, perfect place for garlic because they're areas that aren't going to get trodden on a lot. The soil's not going to be compacted. So those are the things that I advise you considering when you plant garlic. Is it the right season? Do you have a good quality seed garlic? Did you get it from a reputable seed seller or source or friend who happened to grow their own garlic the year before? Do you have a good spot for it with some nice loose soil? And if your soil needs it, make sure you top it off with compost before you mulch over the top of your garlic bed, and keep it nice and protected for the winter. Because remember, your garlic is going to grow all winter long, and you want to make sure that, especially if you're in an area with snow and ice, that you're not going to kill your crop by letting that stuff sit on there and settle and really get to the garlic itself. We want to protect it. So, well, let's hop down here by the bed and let's go ahead and plant some garlic. Okay guys, so my face is a little mottled by the sun, but what we're going to focus on is the garlic. So your head of garlic, seed garlic, is actually cloves, garlic cloves, all bundled up together, just like in the kitchen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to break them apart. And some instructions will tell you that you want to plant just the largest garlic cloves in there, but I go ahead and plant them all because I am a rebel, and I just never know if it'll produce a pretty good head of garlic, so why not give it a chance? So watch how we break apart this garlic, and then we'll plant it in the ground. Okay, so here is my head of garlic, of seed garlic, and just like garlic clove in the kitchen, I am going to peel some of the skin off, and you can just let it fall into your bed. It'll just compost in, right? Okay. Here we go. All right. So you'll see each of these will be its own head of garlic, ideally. Okay. So let's see how many plants we can get out of this one head of seed garlic. That's a great one. It's a great sized one right there. Toss that over there. All right. I do have a little tiny one right here, so I probably won't plant that one. He'll be on his own. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 potential heads of garlic from one head of seed garlic. So that is pretty good. Okay, very pleased with that. And all these are really good size except for that tiny one. So you'll see these have a pointed tip and then the flat bottom. And when we plant them a few inches deep, we are going to space them out about 8 inches apart, and we are going to make sure that this point is pointed up. Okay, and what I like to do is go ahead and lay out exactly where they're going to be in the bed on top of the soil, and then push them down, and then we'll water them in, and then keep the soil moist but not wet. That's one great thing about raised beds, is that they drain really well, but we're going to keep it moist while they're starting to sprout, and then once they sprout is when I'll mulch them. So let's go ahead and lay these out about 8 inches apart. Smooth out my soil here. You can certainly use a ruler. I like to eyeball things. There we go. Here. Okay, one there, here, and here. Perfect. I'm not too worried about my fingers, so I'm just going to dig down several inches, making sure that that point is up. We're going to leave the skin on. It kind of helps to protect. This one has come off a little bit, but hopefully it'll be all right. It'll help to protect that clove while it's working on sprouting. So several inches deep. We also want to make sure nothing's going to come dig it up. Okay, and there you go. And you've placed everything, every clove in its place, so you know where you've already planted and where things need to go. Okay. The soil is very loose because, as I said, they were just filled yesterday with brand new soil because these beds were just moved here. So I am not worried at all, or it's not difficult at all to push these pieces of seed garlic down. Okay, if your soil is a little bit firmer than that, no worries. Just get yourself a little trowel and loosen up the soil as you dig a little spot for it. So now I can water them in and then set them to grow. And that's how you plant your garlic, guys. Hope that was helpful.